So we'll just jump right in. In the animation department, there's a lot of different emphases that we have. So we have traditional character animation, which is hand-drawn animation. We also have 3D character animation, which is 3D. So if you think of Pixar, that's that type of animation. We also have stop motion and experimental. But there's a lot of different areas that students can really go into when they graduate that's within the animation realm. So we also have students who might get into design, into storyboarding, fabrication, or just animation. And sometimes, even though illustration does offer visual development, we cross-pollinate with them, and some of our students end up going into visual development as well. And as of recent, we were rated the top school for animation in Michigan, and we are amongst the top 20 in the Midwest by Animation Career Review. So definitely Google search that, and you'll be able to find out more. So our facilities are pretty incredible. We have a variety of different things that we offer in terms of software and technology, and all of our stuff is industry standard. So it's really important that we train you guys to understand what the industry expects and to have access to those facilities. And we've done a really good job as of recent dealing with COVID and allowing remote access. So some of the software that we offer is Harmony, Toon Boom, and Storyboard Pro, TV Paint, Dragon Frame, the entire Adobe suite, ZBrush, Autodesk Maya, and Oculus Quill. And there's also some other little pieces in there that relate to specific emphases in our department. Some of the technology we have is we work with Macs, we work with PCs. We also have amazing Cintiqs, fantastic cameras. We also have stages for shooting or setting up stop motion. We have a green screen room too, so that's pretty fun. And we also have the traditional animation desk. So in these images, you'll see that on this bottom section, this is our traditional animation lab. So you can see that we have some of the traditional animation discs similar to what the old school Disney animators worked on. But we also have, top of the line Macs and Cintiqs. Normally we have more in here, but as you guys know, during COVID, we're making sure that we're properly following safety standards and allowing students the space and the access to the resources during this time. And then in this image over here, we have one of our students who has set up a stage in our stop motion studio and is actually shooting a proof of concept for her film. And I'm going to be showing you a little clip of that later on during this presentation. So for industry involvement, so we're really well aware that the entertainment arts department, that the industry exists outside of Michigan, a lot of it, but there is some of it that's still here, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But our faculty take pride in keeping up with their professional practice and staying in touch with studios. So I'm constantly doing freelance throughout the year. I know that Tim does as well. Josh is always working on a film, and Steve is always working on something too. So we like to stay in our professional practice because, as you know, technology in the industry is constantly changing, and we want to be in the know of what you guys need to expect when you graduate from CCS. And we also keep in touch with some of our incredibly successful alumni, because at CCS, we're really a tight-knit family. As you know, our class sizes are a little bit smaller. They're more intimate. You get to really know the faculty, but you also get to know some of the alumni. So the alumni really take pride in being screeching peacocks. And so that whenever we go out to events or go out to California, or if they happen to be in town, they love to connect with our current students and not just give them industry insight, but also opportunity. So we also attend events, and we also host an event here, but I'm going to talk about the events we attend first. So one of the events we go to is the Creative Talent Networking Animation Expo, and that's in Burbank, California. And you can see down here on the left-hand side of the presentation, this is a snapshot from 2019. This was the alumni party that we had. And these are all people that are, some of them are students that went with us, and some of these people are people working in the industry that are also CCS grads. So it's really exciting when we go to CTN because yes, anyone could go and buy a ticket and fly to California and attend the event. But what we do is we connect with studios in the industry like Cartoon Network, Disney Television, Pixar, and so on. And what we do is we connect with those people and we get personal tours for the students who visit California during that event. And that's not something you can just do on your own. So we kind of, lean on our alumni or our connections in the industry. So you guys get to actually go into these studios, see shows that they're working on. And also sometimes you get sneak peeks of shows that aren't even available for viewing yet, which is really exciting. And there's been moments too where some of these people in the industry will review your portfolios right then and there. So you get this intimate connection because at CTN, a lot of other students that are at other schools are there trying to network just like you are and trying to get their portfolios reviewed. But what's nice is you get that exclusive access on these studio tours. And it's usually myself, Steve, and Josh that will attend this event and organize all of this. It's a really good time. And we always have the alumni party. So then you get to go and meet alumni that are working in LA and get to know them, show your stuff, and build that relationship because a lot of our industry relies on networking. Another event that we attend is the Ottawa International Animation Festival. It's the biggest in I think this side of the world, and in North America. It's really amazing. It's in Canada, so it's not that far for us. So usually what we'll do is we'll take a train out to Ottawa. And what's great about this event is even though it's not marketed as a networking event, you end up getting to network there as well. So a lot of people working in the industry or independent creators will submit their work to this festival, outside work that they've done for themselves or even industry work, any shorts that might be made, and they'll submit it, and you'll get to see all this really amazing work by people who are thriving in this industry, but you also get to meet other students and you get to network as well. What's cool about this is everyone's kind of got their guard down, all the creators there, because they're there to watch shorts, to show their stuff. And that's a great moment to get to know someone on a little bit more personal level, and have that opportunity to maybe connect with them later. And sometimes they'll look at work right there. They have the animators picnic, and it's usually sponsored by Cartoon Network. So it's a really big event, and you get to go and have a good lunch and get to know people. So if you look down here on the right-hand corner, this is a snapshot from the 2019 event. And if you look right here next to the person with the teal hair, that's Rebecca Sugar, who is the creator of Steven Universe. So it was an awesome time. And like I said, everyone's guard was down because we're all at this picnic having fun, and they got to meet their idol, which is amazing. And also pass on their information as well. And then over here, we have Brooke Kiesling, who is a talent recruiter at Bento Box. So it's, again, this is just a great chance for you guys to get to know the industry, and it doesn't feel as far away, especially when we're living in Michigan. But what's incredible about these times is that as a freelancer myself, I work in mostly digital. And what's interesting about students that are adjusting here at CCS and learning how to work digitally is it's going to be like that at first for people who are coming out of the school. So this is going to show you how to work independently, but also it's opening up opportunities for you guys because you don't have to always be in LA now to get work. I've worked with industries all over our country, honestly. So some other involvement that we have is we have the Entertainment Arts Expo. We call it EA Expo. It's this really great event where we actually invite the industry out to Detroit to review juried work from our juniors and seniors. So the juniors and seniors, they submit a portfolio because for you to have your work reviewed by the industry, you have to have a portfolio. So the faculty review it, and if you get accepted, then you're able to display your work at the Expo. And also, this is again, just like we were talking about with Ottawa, this is a great time because they specifically came out though to see you, but the guard's down, so you get to rub elbows with Peter Ramsey, who came out a couple years ago in 2019, and he's one of the directors of Into the Spider-Verse. So he looked at student work, and he also presented, and we got to see some really cool insights of how they developed that, because that Into the Spider-Verse completely changed 3D animation, and just the expectations, the look, the feel of it. So and again, we use our contacts that we have in the industry to invite them out. And then if you look on the left-hand side, you can see this is Devin Law. This is from I believe it's actually the 2018 EA Expo. That's my bad. And here he is showing his work. And after he graduated, he ended up getting a position at a game company, which is really exciting. So it's interesting about animation. Like I was telling you guys at the start, you would be surprised at what industries you could actually work in and what areas you might end up focusing in. There's not just one set path. There's a lot of different paths, and we accommodate that. Some other things that we have to help you get more involved in the industry is we'll host creative workshops or invite guest speakers to come and talk with you guys. So we've had Floyd Norman from Disney, like I mentioned, when Peter Ramsey came out. And then Michael, I think I'm going to butcher his name, Makarowitz, is that right? From Pixar came out, and he also shared some really great industry insight as well. And this is just a picture.
Is it? Makarowitz?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And here's just a snapshot of MoGraph Mondays, a local event that we hosted here at CCS in the auditorium. And then Steve and Josh, you guys are more than welcome to chime in at any time too. And Tim,
but you're doing such a good job.
I don't know if I'm missing anything because there's so much to share with you guys.
What's neat about CCS is that the community is really cool here, mm-hmm. and everybody helps everybody. There's competition in that everyone's trying to do their best work, but mm-hmm. The people aren't head to head, trying to put the spikes in someone else's wheels or anything.
Absolutely. We're always championing each other, and that hasn't changed. We're competitive, but we're competitive in a friendly way.
And if you work in animation, whether you're working locally or if you're working in New York or Los Angeles, everybody either knows everybody or everybody knows of each other. Mm-hmm. And so your reputation becomes how you do well in this industry. And so ultimately, a lot of the people that you'll be going to school with, you end up seeing again and again. And some of them end up being your lifelong friends, which is a pretty cool thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've seen students end up getting an opportunity just because, they knew someone from CCS, whether it was like classmate or someone they just met that happened to be an alum. And I mean, to this day, I'll get stuff from peers that I might not have heard of or heard from for a while. And they'll be like, oh, so-and-so sent me to you. So you'd be surprised at how much of a family we really are, and how, even though we're all trying to get in the same industry, we're all championing each other. Because like Steve was saying, it seems like a really big industry, but everybody knows everybody. It's actually a pretty small world. So what ends up happening is, if someone happens to know you from CCS, then they'll pass that information along at whatever studio or job opening they hear of. It's pretty exciting.
What I've really loved is there's pretty much alumni at every major studio and all kinds of little ones as well, mm-hmm. either here locally in Michigan or also, in Los Angeles or New York. So those folks are super happy to help CCS alum. And I love that. So if you do good work, you not only impress the instructors who will try to get you positions and try to help you out, but you impress the other alumni, and they've been exactly in your shoes before they were working in the industry. And so it's kind of a cool symbiotic relationship between everyone.
That's the perfect segue into the next slide. So thank you for that.
Yay.
We've been bragging a lot about our alumni. So like I mentioned, we have alumni from LA to New York and even here in Detroit, and our students have found amazing success in a lot of industries. This is just a little pluck of some of the studios we could think of. There's definitely way more than I have listed here. So, there's someone that has been connected or worked at all the big ones you guys know. So like Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney Animation Studios, Walt Disney Television, Titmouse, Stupid Buddy Studios, Screen Novelties, Bento Box, Netflix, Sony Pictures, Blur, Leica, Hornet, Powerhouse, Pixar, Adult Swim, and so on. So, if you know it, there's probably a huge possibility that a CCS alum has been there or touched that studio at some point.
And
But
also at some point, if you're like working, you'll end up at more than one place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's common for you to studio jump. Very common.
In fact, it may be the way things are going. And so
Yeah.
at a studio for longer than 5 years is going to be uncommon now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also, as mentioned, we also have local studios. So here's a list of some local studios that CCS alumni have worked at. So we have Gunner, who's in Detroit, right downtown. Yeah House in Ferndale. Hook is in Ann Arbor. First Fight's also in downtown Detroit. Armstrong and Pluto, I believe, are also downtown as well. And we've had students work in all these studios, and I probably didn't even list them all. I'm sure there's a few that I missed, but these are some of the major ones that we have here. Cool. So I wanted to give you guys some alumni standouts too that we've had from our department. So I just took a couple of students. Believe me, there's much more that are listed here, but these are the ones that are more recent that Steve, Josh, and I discussed. So we have Jen Strickland. She's a storyboard director at Disney on Amphibia. This is her with Kermit. If you look her up, you'll get to see this really cute little video where Kermit's art directing her on how to storyboard properly. But she's a fantastic talent. We got to see her last year during CTN, so this was pre-COVID, and we got to go around Disney Television, and it was so fun because she's the director of storyboarding. So we got to go in and see all the different workspaces and meet all the different artists. We got to see episodes that hadn't even aired yet. She even walked us through how a typical day looks in the studio and what it's like to be a storyboard artist, and showed us some little secrets of what was coming out. I'm sure those episodes have aired now, but at the time they were very new.
Yeah. You always get to see something cool when you go out and visit people.
Absolutely. And little treats that you would normally get. And insight too, because I feel like the industry can feel foreign or really far away. And it's kind of like, oh, I could see myself here. These people love, I don't know, anime as much as I do, or whatever it might be that you're interested in. We're all a little bit nerdy at heart. We all love animation. So it's really cool to see other people excited about it like you are. John Trebick, I said that right, Trebick, right?
Yep.
He is now a showrunner. He was originally a lead storyboard artist on SpongeBob, and now he has Middlemost Post, which is supposed to come out sometime in the future. And he was also recently named top 10 animators to watch by Variety, which is pretty exciting. Check out his stuff. It's slapstick, funny, and really just fantastic. And he did the same thing Jen did. So he took us around Nickelodeon. We got to see some SpongeBob episodes. I think we got to see part of the movie that hadn't come out yet. Isn't that right, Steve?
Yeah, I think that's what they were boarding when we were there, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. So we got to see some of that. But keep an eye out for a show.
He became a SpongeBob expert really fast.
Yeah.
He's really good at those drawings.
Yeah, for sure.
This is what's funny though about your talent is that you end up gravitating toward the things that you're really interested in, the things that you love. And those, of course, are the things you'll get really good at. So, and there's space in the industry for all different talents.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then Chris Houghton, he's a showrunner on Big City Greens. He did major in illustration, but he received a minor in entertainment arts. So again, that's that cross-pollination we were talking about, where visual development kind of cross-pollinates between that. It's not rare that we have illustration students come in, and that we also have you guys take illustration classes, as long as it helps your focus, as long as it's helping what you're interested in going into.
Yeah, he spent a summer freelancing at Thunderbean once too.
Did he really? So
Yeah.
you have to explain what Thunderbean is.
We all run our own gigs, really. Like we all every one of the instructors does their own work as well, and some of it is our personal work, and sometimes it's for a movie or for a television show. I've got a little company called Thunderbean, and we do freelance animation, and we restore old movies. And so Chris worked over a summer working on some games. We were doing some online games for Tiger Toys, and so we worked on that for a summer.
That's cool. So yeah, it just reinforces what you're talking about, that your faculty can help you cut your teeth too. So I also have a studio. It's just a little baby. It's not a Thunderbean, it's a baby. But I'll get freelance work or full production sometimes. And the reason I made this studio was actually so I could have some of my students and alumni have an opportunity to work on work, because I could just market myself as a freelancer and that would be fine. But I thought, why not make a studio where you guys could get the experience of working on a production and also get paid doing it, which is pretty exciting. So that's what's great about the faculty here too, is that, you know, we're able to offer advice and opportunity as well. Okay, so I wanted to share with you guys our reel. I'm gonna have to adjust the clip so that way you can hear it. Hopefully the frame rate isn't too bad, but I can always send you guys a Vimeo link in the chat after the presentation so you can check it out on your own time. Choppy. It was on my end. So
hey, Mel, we got to run it again. It didn't play.
It didn't play. Oh, okay. Let me try. Oops. Let me try to minimize this real quick. So you and then let me see if that will work better. Let's jump back to that. So okay, let me open that up and let me see if I can get this boy to play better for you guys. If not, then I can open it on QuickTime. Give me a shout if it's playing. Cool. So again, I'll paste that link. Oh, I'm trying to play again. I'll paste that link in the chat, so that way you guys can check it out on your own time. So I wanted to also share some current student work. So these are students that are currently in our curriculum at CCS. So this is Dylan Murillo. He did a 3D project for his junior projects class, which Josh teaches. I'm getting tongue-tied now. I've been teaching all day. And this was a very special project because he partnered up with another student, I think a couple other students actually, he made the models, but he had a student help him rig it. He also had some students do some traditional animation on top of this for some effects. And I believe that another student also helped make props for the scene. So keep an eye out, stay tuned for this. I know he's gonna release it soonish. I talked to him today and he said that he's like 2 days away from finishing all the visuals and he's working on sound design right now. So I'm pumped to see it. It's really cool to see this. This is Natalie Schultz. This is the same person I showed you guys at the start of the deck that was working on their stop motion set. So she's making a little short film, I think it's going to be done at the end of the semester. Is that right, Josh? Or does she have another semester on it?
I think it's the end of this semester.
Okay, cool. And
No,
she's working. Yeah, she's doing great, and she's working with one of our adjuncts, Kevin Coyle, who is a major force in the stop motion industry. He's worked on almost works with almost any studio you can think of for stop motion.
He's kind of worked everywhere.
Yeah, like Screen Novelties, Hornet.
He was up at
Stupid
Leica.
Buddy.
He was at Will Vinton's. He was out in New York working for Hook and all kinds of different places.
Yeah, so he's doing a fantastic job showing you guys what it's like to be on an actual live set, how to not only create your sets and fabricate and create the puppets, but also how to shoot, how to mark when something is hot. And so that means the set's hot. You can't touch it, can't move it, because if you move something on your stop motion set and you're still shooting, the shot's compromised. Yeah.
I'm really impressed by the lighting on these shots. These are gorgeously lit.
Isn't it beautiful?
It doesn't look like there's much color correction here. I think this is right out of camera.
I think it is right out of camera. Yeah, it hasn't gone through correction yet.
There's a
great
program called
character.
Dragon Frame that you can take single frames and you can see the frames before and after the ones you've shot. So you can keep testing and making sure that everything's working perfect as you're animating.
Yeah, and that's the industry standard program is Dragon Frame. Yeah. It's incredible what this thing can do, because we were at Stupid Buddy last year for CTN and they were showing us this complex dolly shot coming into the scene, and they showed us in Dragon Frame, they coded it to be able to know at what frame to zoom in. So when you shoot it, you're shooting one frame as you're going. So it's 24 frames per second. So that what they're doing is they set it up so the camera just like clicks slightly forward. But when you actually hit play, it feels like it's trucking in. It's amazing what they can do. And we use that software for this.
Cool. Yeah, that looks beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous? So this is Michael Lazar. This was also from Junior Projects. So Junior Projects is the class where students all can have the option to work individually or in a group to make their own project. So you do get introduced to making your own shorts, but usually you're in groups. But this is the opportunity where you could continue working with a specific group of students or do it independently. So he finished this one already. I don't know when he's releasing it. I think he's working on the credits still. So, but it's Brain versus Brawn. It's about the scientist who shows up and meets a caveman. And this is kind of, you get the personality of this caveman and what might happen in this film, but keep an eye out for that one. This one was done was it TV Paint? It looks like TV Paint.
It looks like it, yeah.
And probably After Effects to composite.
I believe it was TV Paint, yeah.
The brushes look like TV Paint.
TV Paint is one of the major programs that you can use to put things together, guys.
Yeah, it's Toon Boom right now is the top, but TV Paint is starting to edge up. So if you guys are familiar with Goblins, they just use TV Paint. A lot of the Disney animators use TV Paint, like Floyd Norman uses TV Paint. We were gushing about that when he came to visit us. So but we offer both. So you know, some people prefer Toon Boom and some people prefer TV Paint. It's just up to the student and what their preference is. This is Adi Vanis. I always say her last name wrong.
Vanis, yeah.
Thank you.
You did fine. You've been talking like 14 hours.
I've been talking all day, so I'm like, and this is her film Chatterboxing. This one's really fun because it's a mix of stop motion and 2D animation, so it's a little bit more experimental, which is pretty exciting. But Josh, you know way more about this one. You want to talk about it a little bit, her process?
So the set was built practical. She had a small set and she shot it. The characters were animated in TV Paint, I believe. And then the lettering, these were all physically cut out of paper. And then she did some animation, and then she did some compositing in After Effects. She got friends to do the voice recording. She, just put everything together. All the background characters are cut out puppets, and that's been animated and then composited in the background. So
Cool.
And
it's
I think
really
she's
cool.
nominated to a couple of film festivals already.
Yeah, yep, she's been submitting it and yep.
We really encourage students to do the kind of work that they'd like to. And so there isn't really a house style of any kind here. You're learning the principles of the animation and the principles of filmmaking and design. And then we're basically cutting you loose and letting you design it how you would like to with really a lot of personalized critique. And both students and instructors.
Yeah, we definitely champion everyone's style. Because I mean, if I were to jump back and you look at each of these, they're all so vastly different, but they all inherit the same things, which is the understanding of film language, an understanding of the principles of animation, character performance, and learning how to get to that final outcome, the post-production aspects of it as well.
And I think that the key thing that all animators share is, maybe just all artists share in some way, is an attempt to try to do the best that you can and to grow and to learn as you go. And all of us, I think, during that journey, have a whole series of doubts. And the kind of the way to overcome those doubts is to be able to do and to be able to keep working and to make a lot of mistakes as you go. Yeah. It's perfectly fine as part of the process to have a lot of stuff not work. Because, and I'm sure that Adi was really frustrated with making this film. She had this idea,
at times,
and trying to get it to work well is crazy because there's all these different elements. But who would have thought that you could do all of this and it would actually work in a final design?
Yeah, it's so exciting. It's fun to watch this because it's like that's paper cutout, like you said, Josh, in the audience. That's paper cutout and the words that are shooting out. And then it's got this actual set that she shot on, and then TV Paint on top of it. But it all looks so cool together.
And guys, these are just a few shots from some of these films. A lot of these films are a minute or two or three.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, most of the junior projects are a minute 20.
Mm-hmm.
We try to keep it about that length so that, this is the first time that everybody's putting together all of the different parts that they've learned in all their classes. It's kind of a run through for, practicing for their senior project. So we encourage, a lot of exploration, a lot of trial and error, but also, taking some time, but we keep it to that minute and a half length so that it's actually achievable and you get a completed film. So
yeah, absolutely. And what's great is that you guys will be touching all aspects of the animation production, so pre-production, production, and post-production. And it's important for you to understand all those areas because that's usually where students find out where they want to fit. They'll be like, oh, I really like storyboarding. That was really fun. I enjoyed that. I think that's what I want to go into. Or maybe they really liked animating, or maybe they really like visual development, like backgrounds and props. So that's why, and also you need to know how the whole production works because you need to know what your contribution is. If you don't have an understanding of what your team is doing, then you're always going to be lost, and you'll never quite be accommodating for your colleagues. So that's why it's so important for you to understand all these different aspects of the production, so that way when you move forward in the industry, you have that understanding, but then you also have the ability to be flexible in your career. So I'll be a storyboard artist sometimes on a job. Sometimes I'll just be an animator. Sometimes I'll be an art director. It just depends on the job, what they're looking for and what they need. And if it wasn't for CCS, I don't think I would understand all those aspects, especially because, some schools are only focused on the technical side, where we're not just focused on the technical side, we're also focused on, like Steve was saying earlier, individual voices and look, because that's what kind of makes you stand out when you're applying for jobs. They want to know who you are as a creator. And, that's very important, because they need to know, are you going to fit in our culture? Are you going to fit on this show? Or sometimes just having that story or that understanding of you, it gives you, personality to them. So then they're interested to reach out and get to know you even more.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. You have something else to add?
Oh, no,
No.
I was just smiling because I thought that was so well worded.
Oh, good. All right, so I'm gonna pass the next slide to admissions. I'll let you take it away and tell our audience how to apply and financial aid and so on.
Yes, so the last little part of our presentation tonight before we turn it over to questions, I just wanted to remind everyone, if you haven't applied or if you're looking to apply, that we have these 3 easy steps where you go onto our website. Our application is totally free. You just submit your transcripts and then your portfolio. Based off of your GPA and your portfolio, you can be eligible for merit scholarships. If you want to be eligible for the highest merit scholarships, you want to keep an eye out for those application deadlines. We do have one coming up for November 1st. Not November 1st, I'm sorry, December 1st. So December 1st is our early action deadline. So you want to maybe get everything in by then. If you miss that deadline, we still have the priority deadline by February 1st. If you haven't filled out the FAFSA, I would encourage you to fill that out as well. That gives you all of your need-based aid. And then definitely check us out online if you want to look at any other majors or just some more alumni videos. I know that Mel showed a lot of great things about the animation department, but on our website, we have a lot of great alumni videos, more examples of student work, more information about the faculty. So definitely make sure that you take a look at that. And that's my spiel. So we can stop sharing the screen, and then we can, if you want to turn on your video cameras, you can now, because I will not be recording anymore. And then we will open it up to see if anyone has any questions.